Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely fascinating and honestly totally misunderstood world of the Ursidae family. We're moving far past their popular reputation as just aggressive carnivores to reveal their true evolutionary marvels. These are some of the most adaptable, ecologically vital creatures on our planet. Okay, let's jump right in. So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover 1. The Ursidae family tree. 2. Their biology and plantigrade walking. 3. The miracle of reproduction. 4. How they act as keystone ecosystem engineers. And finally, number 5, a special spotlight on Turkey's brown bears. All right, section 1, the Ursidae family tree. Let's meet the 8 surviving species. Now, even though bears belong to the order Carnivora, which literally means meat eaters, you might be pretty surprised to learn there are actually only 8 surviving species of bears in the entire world today. But man, they really get around. They're spread all across North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. We're talking about habitats ranging from the incredibly dense bamboo forests of China all the way to the freezing, desolate sea ice of the Arctic. These 8 species have basically conquered a huge chunk of the globe. And what's wild is the extreme physical diversity within this family. We aren't just talking about, slightly different shades of fur here. It's a massive jump in size. To put this in perspective, on one end, you've got the tiny sun bear, weighing in at just around 35 kilograms and standing about 1.2 meters long. But then, on the totally opposite end of the spectrum, the colossal polar bear can tip the scales at a staggering 726 kilograms and stretch nearly 2.5 meters. It just goes to show how drastically this family has evolved to dominate completely different environments. Moving right along to section 2, biology and plantigrade walking, built for survival. So, have you ever watched a bear walk and thought it looked, kind of flat-footed or maybe a bit awkward? There is a biological reason for that. Scientists call them plantigrades. Basically, just like us humans, bears place their entire sole, including the heel, completely flat on the ground with every single step. Now, you'd think that kind of heavy, grounded stance would slow them down, right? Especially compared to animals that sprint on their toes. But no way. Despite that flat-footed walk, they are remarkably fast runners, completely amazing climbers, and super powerful swimmers. They're literally built from the ground up for ultimate survival. And that adaptability totally extends to their diet. Remember how they're classified as carnivora? Well, a lot of people just assume, they must all be strict meat eaters. But that's actually not the case at all. Sure, on one extreme, the polar bear is indeed strictly carnivorous, pretty much surviving entirely on seals. But then on the other extreme, you have the giant panda, which is almost exclusively herbivorous, just munching away on bamboo all day. The vast majority of the family, though, like the brown bear, they're highly adaptable omnivores. They'll eat grasses, roots, fruits, insects, fish, and yeah, for sure, they absolutely love honey. That dietary flexibility is exactly why they're such a successful family of mammals. Next up is section 3, the miracle of reproduction, mastering the winter. Okay, this part is just mind-blowing. Bears use this crazy biological trick called delayed implantation. Here's how it goes. They mate during the warmer, active months, but then the fertilized embryo basically hits the pause button. Its growth just stops, completely suspended. It isn't until the mother finally enters her winter den and safely settles into hibernation that the embryo actually attaches to the uterine wall and starts growing. So these tiny, totally vulnerable cubs are born right smack in the middle of winter while the mother is literally still asleep. It's nature's genius way of making sure her body only uses up vital resources when she is safely nestled away from predators and harsh weather. Then, come spring, the whole family emerges strong and ready to go. Which brings us to section 4, nature's keystone ecosystem engineers. There's a term used in our source material, Keelit-Turler, which translates to keystone species. Think about a giant stone archway. The keystone is that one central block holding the whole massive structure together. Pull it out, and the whole shebang comes crashing down. That is exactly what bears are to nature. If you remove them from an ecosystem, you aren't just losing a cool, large mammal. You're actually triggering a cascading collapse of the entire local environment. Let's break down exactly how they do this. So, how exactly are they engineering the forest? Well, first off, they're the ultimate cleanup crew. As scavengers, they eat carcasses that would otherwise just rot and spread disease.
Secondly, because of that awesome omnivorous diet we talked about, they eat a ton of fruits and berries. As they roam across massive territories, they deposit those seeds everywhere, quite literally planting the forests of tomorrow. And finally, when they dig deep into the dirt with those huge claws looking for roots, they're actually acting as nature's tillers, turning over and aerating the soil so that fresh plant life can bloom. They are holding the entire food chain together.
Let's ground all this in reality with Section 5. Spotlight. Turkey's brown bears. 3 to 5,000. That is the current estimated population of the Eurasian brown bear living in Turkey today. It's a really vital population, and taking a closer look at them helps us see all these global ecological concepts happening in a specific habitat. When you look at this local population, you see a creature perfectly shaped by its environment. They roam all over the Black Sea region, the Taurus Mountains, the Inner Aegean, and eastern Anatolia. Now, despite their massive size, and we're talking big here, some males can easily hit 500 kilograms, they actually have these unexpectedly small heads, flat foreheads, and short round ears. But my favorite detail is how their coat adapts to the terrain. If they live way up high in the Rocky Mountains, they sport a grayish, dark brown fur for camouflage. But down on the open, soil-rich slopes, their coats lighten up to a beautiful cream or cinnamon color. Oh, and about that hibernation. From October to December, they go into a deep sleep. But actually, scratch that, it's not a true coma at all. If the weather suddenly shifts or there's danger, they can completely wake up at will. So let's wrap up this explainer with a final thought. We've seen today how bears are just so much more than their fearsome reputation. They are planters, they aerate the soil, they stop diseases in their tracks, and they manage all this while navigating months of deep winter sleep. So it really leaves you wondering, if a creature that sleeps deeply for months on end is still the most vital engineer of the forest, what other invisible, highly intricate connections are we just completely missing in nature? How many other misunderstood giants are out there quietly keeping our world alive while we aren't even looking? Just something to think about the next time you take a walk through the woods. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.